talking about the foundation being laid for a mark of the beast. No one's going to be able to buy or sell. You know, I'm studying through the book of Revelation on Sunday nights. I'm actually in Revelation chapter 13 right now, where we start seeing the mark of the beast. And we know from our study of the book of Revelation that those who become believers in Jesus, Yeshua, Messiah, during this tribulation period, the Antichrist breaks his peace treaty with Israel halfway through that 7-year tribulation, and he starts going after the Jews like crazy. I mean, how do you think, and believers, Gentiles as well, how do you think he's able to identify who people are? Even if they don't take the mark of the beast, there's probably going to be enough information on the system. So in other words, we're not saying this is the mark of the beast. You could have a system, though, that is so loaded up with information on a global scale that you can immediately identify who are Christians or who become, as we'd say during the tribulation period, tribulation saints, because I believe the Christians, the church has been removed. But you could find out real quick. And even if they don't take the mark of the beast, if they're using any of the technology, it's going to become very obvious. They're reading an online Bible, they're visiting Christian websites, they're doing searches on the internet now about the Bible, about the book of Daniel, about the book of Revelation, because they're living in the world where all these things are happening, and they're like, wait a minute, the Bible talks about these things, right? It wouldn't be long before artificial intelligence can start identifying just from the daily life and patterns and habits of people using their credit cards or instant payments or apps, who are believers, right? You don't even have to have the mark of the beast system yet, because Revelation 13 makes it clear true believers in Jesus won't take the mark of the beast. But that doesn't mean a system isn't built that can identify them even if they don't have the mark. But if they don't have a mark, now good luck buying food, right? Which is why I think Jesus in Matthew 25 at the judgment of the nations is separating out the sheep from the goat. And he commends those Gentiles who were ministering to the Jews, who are specifically being targeted by Antichrist, as we see in Revelation 12. And he commends them for visiting them in prison, feeding them. I was hungry. I was in prison. I was naked. And you clothed me, right? And he says, and they said, when did we do this? And he says, if you did this to the least of these, my brethren, you did it unto me. The brethren of Jesus would be the Jews, right? So this is going to be used, I think, at some point to bring persecution on both Christians and what we call tribulation saints and Jews on the earth. Would you agree?
I do. Something you mentioned there along the way, this is an important aspect. With AI now, AI is able to spot you wherever you happen to show up. Your computer, for instance, has its own unique signature. So let's say you log in as somebody over here, not your identity. Now you log in somewhere else with a different identity. AI can figure out, oh, that's your computer, and they can tag it to you. So if AI can have that basically access to all the information in the system, the country, it can ferret out where all of your connections are, and then accumulate that data into the master file, if you will.
And if you're having to use biometrics, thumbprint, iris, voice, because two authorizations, right? We need two sets of authentication, right? We hear that all the time, right? Would you like to set up another way to verify who you are for convenience and safety? So people are being conditioned. So first of all, it's like, we need your iris. Okay, great. Now we need your thumbprint. Well, just to be sure, I need you to say this. Now from my voice, my eye, my thumbprint, they're identifying. Yes. So I can say I'm Donald Duck, but as soon as they see my iris, my fingerprint, and my voice, they're like, I'm sorry, that's not Donald Duck, that's Brannon Howse. Now they know who I'm at. Even if I got a brand new computer and I'm logging in, I can't log in until I've passed the screen to get in and I've been registered into the system. So I can say who I am and be wrong, but the biometrics will not lie. And now all of a sudden, he's not in the Mid-South anymore. He's popping up, deep down in Mexico, hiding out or something. Well, you know right where they're at. So this is how this global system works, and Antichrist and the system would be able to find people. And isn't it interesting? I never thought of this till right now. Is this why Jesus himself in Matthew 24 says that this day will come, this abomination of desolation, referring to the time that Antichrist breaks his agreement, peace agreement with the Jews, and sets up an image in the temple that speaks words of blasphemy. He stops their sacrifices and he starts to go after the Jews. And Jesus himself referenced this, and he referenced the book of Daniel, showing Jesus trusted the authenticity and veracity of the Old Testament prophet Daniel. And he cites the book of Daniel. And he says, flee. Don't go back to your house to get a coat. Flee to the wilderness. Flee to the mountains. And as we study the scriptures, we see pretty quick, it looks like that is in a part of Jordan, what is now Petra. And what is there in Petra? As you know, Patrick, you got all these mountain ranges and cliffs, and they were made famous during one of the movies of Indiana Jones, cities cut out of the rocks. But what's one of the things you probably don't have there? I've never been to Petra, but I'm guessing there's not a lot of electricity, right? I'm guessing there's probably not electricity going out there. So now you're fleeing, but you're also not going somewhere where you're going to have computers and tracking. So you're not only fleeing for safety, but you're going into a system where you're leaving everything behind. In other words, the Jews will be going off the grid. I've never thought of that till right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.